Welcome back to another French Corsair video, and this time, before we switch to the gameplay, I will talk about it and my opinion about it. And yeah, as you can see, this F4U-7 sits at 6.0 at the moment in realistic and also in simulator. And first I thought, well, probably because of the new rockets that you can mount on that thing, these rocket pods here. Yeah, maybe that's why they gave it a higher BR than the F4U 4B from the Americans. Because I thought, well, it will be the same, but it isn't. It is pretty much the same as the F4U 4, but not the 4B. You can also see it in the stat card. The stats for this version and this version are completely the same, but the 4B has better climb rate, but a rated lowest top speed, but in reality it is faster because it just accelerates better and so on. And this is because the 4B has a more powerful engine, takeoff power with web nearly 2800, and this one only 2450. And the French Corsair is the same. It also has the 2450 and 2100 horsepower. And because of this, it definitely performs worse than the 4B variant, but it has a higher battle rating. And probably because of the wing armament and ground battles against tanks or something. But this higher BR doesn't make it easy, at least in realistic, to get the full potential out of this plane, because the normal F4U-4, if you get top tier at 5.0 and you're fighting 4.0 planes, then this is a perfectly fine climb rate and top speed and so on. But with 6.0 BR, pretty much all the time I was in 6.3 matches and even sometimes in jet matches. Yeah, it's can struggle a bit. The armament is great, yeah, with the 420s, but your climb rate is nowhere near the enemy's climb rate. And also the Axis get some planes that have an air spawn at 1000 meters, so you won't be the highest plane at any point, I think, as long as you don't side climb forever and then your team is already dead, or you haven't gotten any kills because the enemy team is already dead. So yeah, that's the situation with this plane. That doesn't mean that it is bad. It's still a very, very good plane, but it needs a team where you are not forced to be the highest plane or fight planes that are way higher and way faster than you in a climb. If you have some other planes on your team that can take this role of to engage the enemy, force the enemy down, and bring the enemy to a lower altitude, and when this happens, and you can dive on them and use your good speed and your pretty good maneuverability against them, then this plane is very brutal and very good. But only then. It cannot perform on its own, like like the cannon Bearcat. That thing can pretty much perform on its own. You can force the fight. You can press on the enemy. You cannot do that with this Corsair. You need planes like a P-51H or like a cannon Bearcat, or even an LF Mark 9 Spitfire that climbs up, turns a bit around, maybe forces the enemy into a dive. That's where this plane can shine. And now I'm gonna switch to the gameplay. And here I am with the gameplay. It's a RB game, as you can see. And I'm in the French Corsair, climbing, and you clearly see this is with all the performance modules, running on web, and yeah, the P51H of course is going up and flying away because that's pretty much one of the best performing planes in the game. But also this Corsair, he's faffing around a bit and doing some strange maneuvers, but he also accelerated better from the start, he climbed better from the start. He's just well, flying a different route. And I learned from my games that I'm not gonna try to be the highest plane or to outclimb any of the German planes. It's just a fruitless effort. And here we can see in the clouds, bomber. He already destroyed one ground target. Now I'm just leveling it off because I'm already know that he's coming. He is diving in, and I take the chance to knock him out. At least attempt to. My first shooting is pretty bad. But the next salvo rips away his wing, showing off the very, very good damage that those 420mm can do. The Germans have loads of planes up high, 335, Tier 152s, very dangerous overall. Checking around because I don't want to get dived on by the enemy. And here's the 190, he pulls up to me. I don't want any of this. He realizes that I'm not going for the head-on and then he just dives away again. C-Fire also comes in. We are now all trying to shoot this guy. But I have to say, he's doing very well with the D13 and evading, and he uses his way better roll rate, and because I was so fast, I pretty much locked up, or the handling got a bit worse. That's nowhere near some other planes, and when they lock up at high speeds, but they definitely lose performance. And we knock off his left wing. Apparently he still has enough lift. And we knock off the last part of the left wing to secure the kill and to make sure that nobody steals the kill. He would have crashed anyway, but yeah. Just to make sure. So now we're down low and slow, and the Germans have the high altitude, but at least we have P47 and Spitfire at altitude. Also had a P51H. Not sure if he already dead at this point. Yeah, no, he's still around. And that's very good, because as long as we have some planes to occupy the enemy, we are in, well, not a very big danger, because we can take our time, pick the targets, make sure to be in a good position to engage the enemy. And that's what I'm trying to do here. Lonely 109, engaged by P-47, Tempest and Spitfire. Here you can see if you even if you climb only slightly, this plane is not that fast. If you compare this to the performance that the Bearcat would give you, yeah. I sniped the K4 on his way past. Probably annoying the heck of some of my teammates there who who were fighting for this kill for the last 3 minutes or something. But hey, whoever gets the first shot in, that's the winner. Oh, I noticed that this 109 up there is closing in, so I decided to drop a bit of altitude and make me a less exciting target. And it worked. He picks another one. This Tempest, which falls victim to this K4 very quickly. I have to say that guy made a very good effort here, diving in this furball with loads of our fighters here. Knocking out the Corsair, knocking out the Tempest. And I think he also gets the Seafire, if I'm not mistaken. And I use my higher altitude to dive in. Dive speed of this plane is pretty good. So if you have even more altitude than I do here, then yeah, you can even dive away from 109s with this plane, because you can extend way above 800 kilometers an hour with this plane. And right when I shoot, another one gets the kill. I still get credited an assist, which is a bit strange because he was already dead, but I'm not gonna complain. Assist also gives you additional points. And I'll use my speed from the dive to climb up to the altitude again. The last enemies are hiding at the airfield. So the situation is pretty good already, because there only one bomber, one fighter, and we have 4 fighters and an attacker. So overall, pretty good team, and that was also the reason why we even won this match. Because with this plane, even though I shot down quite a bit of planes in this plane, I still have a win rate below 50%. The Axis teams overall were pretty decent, and were using their tier 152s and 109K4s very effectively in the games I played in the last 3-4 days. So yeah, if you get against enemies that refuse to dive down and lose all their altitude advantage, then you're pretty much stuffed. You can outmaneuver them with the Corsair, but if they actually have the upper hand overall, then that won't help you. Especially if your team maybe dies like flies because they try to outclimb the Germans. And if that doesn't work out, and they don't realize that they just need to draw the Germans down a bit more, so your performance also gets a bit better. Yeah. And I spot the bomber here, taking off from the airfield. I also got hit by the AAA on my climb, way high altitude. Yeah, that's just a AAA RNG in this game here. in. And we knock off the wing of the 177. New damage model showing off. And I decide, yeah, because my engine will probably die and the AAA is shooting, I need to force the head on here. And in hindsight, it was the best decision, because yeah, if I don't think I would have made it back. All my friendly planes, apart from this, only the P-47 here, were returning to base. And so I finished off this match with 5 kills, even though I only pretty much flying in a support role here. I was not pressing the high altitude, I was not actively engaging any enemies, it was just there when I was needed. And that was pretty much what I wanted to show you about this plane. It is a decent plane, it's a good plane, it wrecks any bomber and any other plane with its armament. It can outmaneuver pretty much all the Axis planes. Maybe not the G56 from the Italians. That one is probably still better. But overall, be careful and realistic with this plane. You definitely need a team with good teamwork, otherwise you will be wrecked by the high tier planes. And yeah, the BR is a bit high, to be honest. With a lower engine power than the second Super Corsair from the Americans, I don't see the reason why this is 6.0 and not at least 5.7. When, if not 5.3, but maybe that's a bit too low. So that's it for this and my opinion about this plane. See ya.